Right then, it's going to be a Chelsea news video. What is happening, friends, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan, and as always, I do hope you're doing well. My friend, I really do hope that. Welcome back, and welcome, yes, back to Chelsea News. We are discussing Chelsea news things today. In today's video, we're speaking about leaks for the third kit next season, some retro stuff, very, very interesting there. Some positive injury news with a returning player that could help us out a lot. Oh man. Romano's confirmed the Rodrygo story, unsurprisingly, is nonsense, like we spoke about yesterday, how these sources, the two ones I referenced in yesterday's video, just seemingly spout nonsense. And Endrick! Remember him? The amount of content I made, and every other Chelsea YouTuber, on Chelsea's relentless chase on Endrick. The guy before Estevao, the other Brazilian 18-year-old, of course, he not quite star-studded as much as Estevao because he wasn't breaking all Neymar's records as this attacking winger, but he was scoring a lot of goals. He's a really unique sort of profile and build. He's a little bit like a Sergio Aguero. He's quite broad, well, not that tall. Scored some high-profile goals. He actually scored against England at Wembley, I believe, for Brazil. I don't know if it was his first start, if he's come off the bench, I can't remember. He might have come off the bench, but he spoke afterwards about the heritage of football and referenced Bobby Charlton, which is very funny for a 17-year-old to be talking about Bobby Charlton, so his new nickname became Bobby. Anyway, turns out going to Real Madrid was a bad move. We'll speak about that. They spent a lot of money. The only reason he plays for Real Madrid and not Chelsea is because they spent 60 million on him. Now, you think we spent a base 29 million on the Estevao. We weren't prepared to, get a different Brazilian teenager for 60 million. We wanted to spend less, like on Kendrick Paez, on the Estevao, and indeed, Giovanni Kenda. I think that can go up a lot more, but he's already performing in Europe. So we'll speak about Endrick, because apparently Graham Bailey's saying, obviously he's got this sort of Real Madrid nightmare that we could go back in, maybe get him for cheaper price. So maybe the Real Madrid move did work for us in the end. We'll speak about it. I'll even look at some stats, because you guys are loving the stats at the moment. We'll do a quick understat graphic thing. So it's going to be fun. Welcome on back. Thank you for joining me. Thank you as always to all of you guys for supporting the content, for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and dropping them hype points down there somewhere. Very much appreciated. And if you are a returning viewer and you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, because of course we are very close, 500 subscribers off. It's 200,000, which is incredible, so you can be a difference maker. With that, let's get into the content, and let's start off with this Rodrygo stuff. So yes, Fabrizio Romano throwing cold water all over those fraudulent sources. What I'm getting from Chelsea sources is very clear. With maximum respect to Rodrygo, Chelsea are not in negotiations, no talks with the players' camp or Madrid. There is zero going on between them. Zero going on between them. Yes, sadly, like me and Emily Ratajkowski, there's nothing between us. There is nothing between Chelsea and Rodrygo, like I speculated in yesterday's video. It would be too much money, wages, transfer fee. We don't need a winger that much. We might need a striker. That's why the Endrick story is interesting, and we're gonna finish the video on that, but there's some stuff to mosey on down through, or a couple of stories in between. But worth mentioning, as presumed, nothing going on between Chelsea and Rodrygo. Of course, certain sources like Fichajes and that Indie Kyler, whatever that friggin' X account's called. Obviously, Chelsea saw that and they were like, briefed Romano. He is a mouthpiece, seemingly, for Chelsea at the moment, like many other clubs as well, I suppose. And they were like, can you just say this is bollocks? Excuse my language. Because it is. So there we are. Let's move on and speak about some Chelsea styling. Coming from footy headlines who do not miss, check out the colours of Nike's Chelsea next season's third kit in the shirt below. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's the old school badge, but the blue, the red, a little bit of red in terms of the accenting, and the white, of course. Check this out as well. The Nike jersey, third jersey, is mainly white combined with red and blue. Officially, the colours are white, rush blue, and global red. In recent years, Chelsea's light-coloured kits leaned towards off-white and beige hues rather than pure white. The 25-26 away shirt was off-white, while the 24-25 away shirt came in a light beige. The last time Chelsea had a truly white third kit was back in 16-17 during the Premier League title-winning campaign. Yeah, some nice kits there, I suppose. Just a bit of styling news. I like it. I got a few shirts behind me and some others that aren't on the rail, but yeah, I think that's nice to bring that in. And one thing I do like about this new media team, kit design team, I suppose it's Nike, it's nothing to do with the ownership, but they're sort of re-implementing some of the vintage throwback stuff. I guess this is happening across all clubs that they're sort of signed with. They're trying to find some retro stuff. Style is always cyclical, isn't it? It always comes back around. I mean, like the old badge again coming back. This is a beauty. I don't wear this enough. I should, this is the kind of shirt that I'm not much of a football shirt wearing out and about guy. Like when I used to go to games a bit more, I would rarely wear Chelsea shirts to games. I sort of like to buy them. But this is something that I'd wear like down the pub with pride. Like, yes mate, I'm Chelsea and I've got an absolutely mustard kit here. It's naughty. I absolutely don't speak like that down the pub. Anyway, nice stuff. Let's move on and speak about the return of Benoit Badiashile. Article coming from football.london. Bobby Vincent writes the following. Benoit Badiashile is progressing well with his rehabilitation, and there is a chance of him returning to the squad against Burnley, though the Frenchman is yet to take part in full training. We understand the 24-year-old defender is still doing individual work at the club's training centre in Cobham as he nears his return from a muscular injury. Badiashile could make the squad for when Chelsea return to Premier League action against Burnley on the 22nd of November, although it's not guaranteed at time of writing. Hugely positive for us because we know at the moment in Maresca's squad we've got loads of right-footed and predominantly right-sided centre-backs. Examples would be Trevoh Chalobah, Tosin Adarabioyo, and that's how you say it, Adarabioyo, or just Tosin. So Chalobah, Tosin, Champong, Wesley Fofana, who I love. That's 4 right-sided, right-footed centre-backs. And we've really, truly, the left-sided was the undisputed first-choice Levi Colwill, who of course is unavailable for the majority of the season. I know we got Hatto, but Hatto's meant to be a sort of rotational left-backy player. The actual, real, true deputy left-footer, left-sided centre-back is Big Ben. It's Benoit Badiashile, and of course he understandably, maybe not understandably, but for a long time he wasn't performing to his level, and he was sort of lumbered in with the 2 Monaco centre-back mistake purchases, Disasi and Badiashile. But the truth is, no, Benoit's 2 years younger than Disasi, possibly 3, I'll have to double check that. And he's seemingly better profiled for Enzo Maresca, and of course he's a left-footer, left-sided player. And yeah, he's a really important asset to have, and if Chelsea have designs of doing well this season, which we should absolutely have every single season, we will need Benoit to be in the squad and be a rotational option, and in certain games, heck, starting in high-profile games. He is a great player. I wonder what our designs are for this season. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say 75 points. I mean, that gets you Champions League as far as I'm concerned, but for me, it's like it's a personal target. It's my target for Chelsea because we haven't had that for years, a 75-plus point finish, and of course, just not looking like knobheads in Europe and in cups, just not getting, eliminated by your Grimsby Towns in the cup, and getting out the league phase in the Champions League, and then whatever happens, I suppose. Right. So, it's time. We are going to fire up the old furnace of old transfer news from, 2 years ago? Because Endrick came before Estevao, yeah? He did. He was also 16. We were trying to sign a pre-agreement. We chased him loads. I'm certain he'll be in loads of my thumbnails. A couple years ago, I feel like I've been on the platform for 6+ years, but probably around a couple of years ago, we were doing the Endrick videos, like everyone else was. Yeah, it was really exciting because we've been on our knees for a super talented striker for ages, yeah? Or what we think is going to be the next best thing. If you could have an Estevao striker version of Estevao, you'd be like, well, we're sorted, mate. Do you know what I mean? We'll speak about in a moment how good Endrick is, how good he has actually been recently. But ever since, dare I say, Diego Costa left, I know Tammy came in, got 15 non-penalty goals in his first season, which is good. We've had Morata, Tammy, You know, I can't think of strikers. Who have we had as a strike? My head for some reason is going to like Pato and Falcao. Why can't I think of the actual strikers? Batshuayi, Nico Jackson. Others will most certainly. I mean, Armando Broja was supposed to be one that came through. It's probably a huge name I'm forgetting. But like, yeah, like, you know, we've obviously flirted with signing Osimhen. We apparently got down to deadline day a couple of summers ago. You know, the dying hours to sign Victor Osimhen, but he ended up being loaned to and indeed being signed permanently to Galatasaray, which is a shame, really. Just you know, he's a Turkish league player now, which seems a bit of a waste to me. But and I'm not, you know, Endrick is the different side of the spectrum to Osimhen. Osimhen's the finished, you know, product, whereas Endrick is a little bit of a Paez and an Estevao, but where Estevao's made seemingly the best decision to come to Chelsea. It's seemingly working really well for him. And, you know, we've got Brazilian players at Chelsea and we won the Club World Cup and he sort of was playing in the Club World Cup. The narrative went well together. You know, Endrick, essentially, I think he was about to come to Chelsea, but then Real Madrid was like, here's, you know, come join Vinny Jr., you know, we're going to pay £60 million for you as well. So I'm going to jump over to the Chelsea Chronicle that are referencing what Graham Bailey said, and then we can talk a bit more broadly, loosely about, you know, Endrick, look at some stats and talk about should we be signing this guy. Remember, we have young centre forwards. If we wanted a centre forward, like, you would try and just drop an Osimhen in, but we do have, you know, Delap's young, Nico will go, but Omega's young, you know, Shimweka's scored again twice for England's youth level. He just keeps scoring goals. This 17-year-old striker that Chelsea owns, you know, a year younger than Endrick. But yeah, we'll talk about it in just a moment. Let's read this article. The Chelsea Chronicle can reveal that Chelsea are ready to make a move for Real Madrid striker Endrick in January and will offer him the chance to rebuild his career in England. Endrick, of course, joined Real Madrid from Palmeiras in 2024 in a deal worth close 50 million. I thought it was 60 million euros. It's just over 50 million, but I thought it was more that. He arrived in a blaze of glory, having snubbed a move to the likes of Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. However, things have not really gone to plan since he's gone to the Spanish capital. The Chelsea Chronicle is told that the new Real Madrid boss, Xabi Alonso, has decided that Endrick can leave, with the club's hierarchy open to a loan, although some believe that they should move on from him. Chelsea are ready to make a move for Endrick, apparently. A host of clubs have been making inquiries, and it's believed the French giants Lyon are working on a deal that could see them join on a loan for the rest of the season. But the Chelsea Chronicle can reveal Chelsea, who of course were huge admirers of Endrick for a long time, have kept close tabs on this situation and believe he can add something to their squad, and they are ready to take a chance on him. They're told that Endrick would love a chance to link up with his good friend Estevao, with the two of course coming through the Palmeiras Academy together. On Transfer Insider, Graham Bailey confirmed, "I've been hearing Chelsea have been following Endrick's situation for weeks and are ready to give him a chance to rebuild his career in West London. I think Chelsea have room in their star-studded squad for another striker in January, and I am told now that they would be an ideal place for Endrick to kickstart his career." Wow, that is big. That is a big, juicy steak of news, I must say. Yeah, look, he's come through Palmeiras Academy. He's besties. He's mates with Endrick. We've got loads of Brazilians. Hey, we've got a trio of Brazilians. What's one more to come in? Now, off the bat, yes, it would be a welcome addition in terms of our real only centre forward is Liam Delap or Mark Yu. I forgot Mark Yu when I was talking about the young strikers. I do genuinely still think Yu will go on loan somewhere. He'll do really well, and Chelsea will quadruple their money on him. I reckon, you know, we saw the CIES Observatory value was about 40 million quid. We spent 5 million quid on him. So even if we sell him for 30 million with a buyback clause or whatever, Mark Guiu will be an amazing acquisition. I just don't necessarily think he's going to be like a Chelsea striker at the moment. Some of you do, which is fine. Some Chelsea fans prefer him to Delap, which is totally fine. But at the moment, in terms of senior strikers that Maresca, I think, trusts the most, it's Delap, really. Obviously, bringing bringing in an 18-year-old Brazilian, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the solution. But many people said the same about Estevao, and now he looks different gravy granules, mate. Right, let's quickly have a look at a stats page here. I'm going to show you his understat. Look, this is his minutes in Europe so limited. So I'm going to show you a stats comparison of him from last season and Nicholas Jackson. But Endrick's only played 324 minutes, where Nico played nearly 2,300 minutes, so way more, but it's still a per 90. So take a look at this graphic. As you can see, Nico's got quite a balanced round shape to his spider graph here, nothing too radical, but Endrick does pop off in a few things. His expected goals per 90 is 0.81, which is very high, but the thing that blows my fragile little mind, and you probably would have seen it too, is the shots per 90. He takes over double the amount of shots than Nico significantly. He takes nearly 6.7 shots per game per 90 minutes. And of course, he was coming off the bench. He was just taking loads of shots or whatever. But he is a striker who wants to score. And to be honest, he's still got high expected assists per 90, high key passes per 90, and a high expected goals chain per 90. So he helps the attack loads. He doesn't look to assist, so he hasn't got any assists. But you want your striker to score goals. And of course, this is a very limited sample size indeed. But, you know, it's positive stats. Now look, right? This is a player that we followed closely that was meant to be an amazing young striker. He's profiled as someone very exciting with a very high ceiling. Like, he does give Sergio Aguero that he's not tall, he's quite thick and he runs really fast. And he was profiled as this player that Chelsea believe could have a really high effect and really high value in the Premier League. And maybe, look, when Real Madrid got him for a lot of money that Chelsea weren't prepared to pay, they're like, right, go there. Now, if he can go for a lot less money because he's had that failed time there, and, you know, he's at the washed up old age of 18 years old, you can take the, opportunity to sign him for a lot less money. He'll probably, almost certainly, if his options are a Lyon, yeah, who are a big team in France, but, it's still Lyon, yeah. If he sees options on the table, go to Lyon on loan in Ligue 1, or go join the Club World Cup champions, which, again, I'm not being childish here. South Americans take the Club World Cup very seriously, yeah, very, very seriously. So he'll see that, Chelsea, the Club World Cup champions, they beat, Palmeiras and, if it was a Flamengo or whatever. It wasn't it? No, we lost to Flamengo. We beat Fluminense. That's when João Pedro scored against his old team. But yeah, again, a trio of Brazilians at Chelsea. Success on the up, loads of young players. Surely, if Chelsea made a genuine move for him in January. Graham Bailey, he's not Fabrizio Romano, he's not David Ornstein, but he's a reputable guy. He's not like the guys we spoke about at the top of this video. So if Chelsea move for him, and they are genuinely interested, I think you just assume he'd be convinced. Not only is he going to a better team than Lyon, he's joining the Club World Cup champions, but he's joining the Brazilian Samba Boy party, which is great fun. Andre Santos, he's getting games, he's playing well. João Pedro scored in, a consecutive games, he's been playing well. And of course, the whole party is about Estevao, the opportunity to be on the pitch with him at a high-profile game when the world's eyes are watching, in playing the Champions League for Chelsea. Look, this will be a divisive story because some of you will be like, no, we need a senior striker. And I've spoken about on the channel recently, how I would love for us to try and get Kane from that buyout clause. I wasn't saying it's a new story. I was talking about my desires and say how I would just throw Harry Kane in and let the young strikers, because genuinely you have to think about Shimwerker. You have to think about, I do think Mark Gu will be sold or go on loan, but certainly Shim and Emmanuel Omega, who's only 22 years old, and Liam Delap, who's 23 years old. There's lots of young strikers, and maybe there's an argument, they're good, they'll push each other on, and they can develop together, and who's the best will start and whatever. Fine. Personally, if you ask me, Jan, what do you think? I'd say I'm torn because he's, part of my FIFA playing inner child would be like, yeah, Endrick next to Estevao, we did it, we got them all, and Cole Palmer playing in there as well. We've hacked the system and got all the Wonder Kids or Football Manager vibes. And then part of me is like, this doesn't make sense. Don't do it. But what do you think? Comment down below, leave your thoughts. Would you go for this? Certainly for the final 6 months of the season, it would be very helpful. So maybe a loan like Leon want. Maybe that genuinely would be like a loan with an option. If you do really well, if you link up with Estevao well, if you score 6 league goals in the second half of the season, obviously non-penalty and a few in Europe, then yeah, we're going to buy you and join the party, mate. You know, Samba boy party. Anyway, what do you think? Comment down below. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing. Go on, do your housework. Like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.